Well,
Okay.
moving right along. Tavin, let's hear your mini game, my friend.
Gentlemen, I have a hit 10 for you. A hit 10 is, of course, a top 10 list that I have either created or found on the internet. You two gentlemen will take turns, 5 turns each, guessing what is on this top 10 list. The points are inversed from their placement on the list. So, number 1 is worth 10 points, number 10 is worth 1 point, and everything in between is flipped as that follows. Phil, can you please keep score for me today?
Absolutely, I can.
And gentlemen, today I'm bringing a list. It's a personal list, one that I crafted myself. These are the top 10 worst games ever, according to me. These are my top 10 least favorite games of all time. I don't like these games. I don't think they're very good, and or they were extremely disappointing. Now, granted, I haven't played every terrible video game out in existence. You know, sometimes a video game gets announced and I look at it and I go, I'm not playing that. And so there's a couple of games that, like, you know, didn't make the cut because I didn't fucking play them. You know, am I going to tell you what those are? No. Because you guys got to fucking figure it out.
I'm probably going to be kind of stumped on this one. Do you know any, like, something on your mind, Phil?
I might know a few.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a little bit now. Okay.
Connor, you'll know a couple.
Yeah.
You'll know a couple. There are 2 games on this list that I expect you two to not get. Because I either A, don't talk about it very much, or B, you don't know that I played it. But I mean, you probably do know that I played it. You're not going to think about it because there's not much to say about it. And I'll also say, not every game on this list is objectively terrible or objectively even bad. You know, some of these games are fine. Some of them are okay. You know, I don't think there's a single good or even great game on this list. I think they are all, at the bare minimum, they're all okay. You know, but some of them are objectively awful. Just awful video games. So, Phil, because Connor always gets to go first, I'm going to allow you to go first today, sir.
Oh boy.
And can you guess what I believe is a top 10 worst video game of all time?
I don't know, Tavin. I'm just gonna shoot off a guess. I'm gonna say Jack 2.
Philip, Jack 2 is on the list at number 4. Granting you, sir, 7 points.
Well, I'll go into the next one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 1.
Kingdom Hearts 1 is also on the list, Connor. Congratulations. Strong start from both of you. However, Kingdom Hearts 1 is only at number 5, granting you 6 points.
What? You think it would be a bit better in his mind?
I thought that you'd say like 8 or 9 because that's actually a great game.
No.
He didn't say. He did say objectively some games are not, but he thinks they are.
I think objectively, Kingdom Hearts 1 is a mid to bad game.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Phil, we're back to you.
Sonic Adventure.
Damn it.
That's the one, ladies and gentlemen. Sonic Adventure XD is our number
DX.
1 worst game. Huh?
DX.
Oh, God, another reason to fucking hate this piece of shit. It is our number 1.
Director's cut.
It is the worst fucking game I've ever played in my life. It's broken. It sucks. It's trash.
I should have said that one first.
Number 1, 10 points to you, Philip. Congratulations.
The only reason I didn't say that one first is because I thought you wouldn't know it.
There you go.
He got a good point. He made a good point, you know, because he got it, so he was able to score some extra points on you. But, Connor, can you guess another game on this list, perhaps the number 2 worst game of all time, to keep this competitive?
You know, I have one that I want to say, but I feel like Phil won't go for it, so I'll keep it in my pocket.
Oh.
And go with the game that you seem to hate on a lot, mainly because it's a game you've had the opportunity to complain about a lot, and I'm going to say Arcane's Prey.
Connor, Arcane's Prey is not on the list. Because I didn't think about it.
Damn. Well,
No, it wouldn't break this list.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't break this list. Now, top 15. No, it still probably wouldn't break that list.
Oh,
But,
yeah, well.
it's pretty, I didn't like that game. So I understand why you selected that. But that's a shoot and a miss there. Phil, back to you for guess number 3. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, they only get 5 guesses apiece. So we're hitting that halfway mark in Tavin's top 10 least favorite video games of all time.
I'm wondering how much more I'm going to be insulted. You know?
It's up to you.
I'm gonna shoot a guess that I think might be on here. I'm gonna say Resident Evil 6.
Oh, Phil, great fucking answer, sir. Connor, you're fucked now. Resident Evil 6 is the number 2 answer on this list.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6 is an awful game, just a cornucopia of mistakes, and just what was a great formula that worked for 2 games and tried to push it to the max and totally fell flat and on its face. One of the dumbest video games I've ever played by far. Number 2 worst video game of all time.
Pretty condemning.
Almost killed the franchise.
Almost did,
Yet
actually.
that's only 3 places above Kingdom Hearts.
There's a spectrum.
When I go to break down the whole list, I'll explain why Kingdom Hearts is where it is. And again,
Poorly.
I've not played every terrible video game in the world. Are there more terrible video games than Kingdom Hearts and Jak 2? Yes, there are. Have I played them? Probably not. Connor, back to you. Number 3.
Let's go. You haven't talked about this game in a while. Of course, you don't talk about particularly games that you hate all the time.
No.
I'm going to go with Sly 4.
I feel like I've talked about that game a lot lately, actually. With
Sly
the
4?
Sly Cooper. Yeah, you're probably just not paying attention. It's probably just a lot on Twitter and you're not paying attention. But, Connor, your suspicions led you correctly. Sly 4 Thieves in Time is on the list at number 7. This is one of those, objectively, not a terrible game, but not a good game. I don't think. I think it totally misses the mark on what Sly Cooper is supposed to be, and just just a lot of choices were made in that game, gameplay and narrative wise. That I think there's a reason Sly Cooper died here, which is unfortunate. But congratulations, Connor. Number 7, which gets you 4 points. Yes, 4 points. Phil. We're back to you.
Final?
Highest possible answer still on the list is number 3. Number 3 is missing.
This is final, correct?
No, this is answer number 4.
Oh.
So you both have 2 chances. Connor, it's not looking good for you.
No.
It's not looking good.
Well, now I got to think of another one.
I don't know if you've played this game.
Uh-oh.
I'll shoot it. I'll say Metal Gear Survive.
Yep, this is the one that I thought would come up, and Phil, you were right in your suspicions. I haven't played Metal Gear Survive. I refused to play it because of the whole Kojima situation, and it just looked awful. So I was like, I don't want to do that to myself. So I've never played Metal Gear Survive. That's a game that probably that could have, if I had played it, could have potentially been number 1. It looked like one of the worst video games ever.
You did. I remember the trickle of information coming out of that game was just like poking with a spear. That was a lot of what I saw.
Yeah,
Behind
building
fences.
a fence and poking zombies with a spear. There's a like a cry for help from the developers in that game, where a character like lifts a clipboard, and in the clipboard is like a list of names, and if you take the first letter of every name, it's like it is something to the equivalent of like Kojima Forever or something like that.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, that's really sad.
Well,
So,
right.
shooting a miss, Phil. That leads us shooting a miss to both of you. So, Connor, if you can nail these next 2 answers, you'll still be at least in a fighting chance here.
well, let me possibly shoot myself in the foot.
Uh-huh.
This is once again one you've had the ability to talk about a lot about why you don't like it, and I'm going to make that be Fable. Not
Connor.
bad enough.
No, Fable is not one of the worst video games of all time. It's one of the most mediocre video games of all time, but it's not one of the worst video games of all
I can
time.
say he didn't have any I mean,
Not vitriol.
the reason it's at the bottom for him, remember the whole conversation about shit, and how he doesn't remember this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an everyday shit, you know?
Yeah, it's an everyday shit. One that I have to take right now, but we're gonna wait till the end of this podcast. Yeah, Fable's not on the list. Swing in a detrimental miss there for you, friend. Phil, we're gonna shoot back to you for your final answer.
Back to me for the final answer.
There are 3 answers left on the list. I am aghast have not been said yet.
3?
3 answers. Connor, you specifically are letting me down here, friend.
Does he double dip in franchises? Is what I'm asking. Is what I'm wondering. I should say.
It's not the one you're thinking of, but I have an answer.
Do I double dip in franchises? I need you to remember how I felt about sequels to games that you showed me on Hype, Phil.
Well, I mean, I'm not. This isn't my guess, but I'm just gonna talk here. We know that. I mean, it's just weird that we skip straight to Jak 2. You know.
Is that weird?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, that we didn't even play Jak 1. We didn't even play Jak and Daxter.
Because the footage is gone. Yeah. One of the top 10 worst times I ever had on camera, Phil.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't think this is on here. I'm not gonna be the most offended because I know it's kind of the black sheep of the group of these kinds of games. So I'm probably gonna get like 1 or 2 points here. I'm gonna shoot Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh no. No. I don't think Sunshine's a great game. I don't think it's very good, but I'm not putting it in worst of all time conversations at all. Not a terrible guess though. I can understand why you would think that, but
I was thinking, 9 or 10 because I just don't know what else you're going. My brain just isn't. All the synapses are not firing.
I'll say in crafting the list, it quickly came up, and then I dismissed it, and I said no. So, Connor, back to you. Final answer. Can you at least make it look like Phil didn't dominate you again?
Again, I feel like last time it wasn't a domination.
I think you won last
Rolled
time.
him over, spread him wide.
Well, I don't. It's really a matter of whether you remember this game, and I can't remember the subtitle, which is the main issue, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I believe the name of that is Terminator Judgment Day.
Oh, fuck.
I forgot about that,
Connor, no, it's Terminator Salvation is
Salvation,
the game you're thinking about. And
Judgment Day is T2.
I forgot about it. I'm sorry, Connor. I let you down there. That would have been on this fucking list.
I know it would have been.
That would have been.
So I thought it would at least be
it
on
would have
there.
been
Is
fucking
the,
high on this list.
Yeah.
That
Christian
game
Bale
is
one.
shit. Yeah, the movie tie-in Christian Bale game, which I have the platinum trophy for.
I wonder why.
It was platinum trophy 49, I believe.
Doesn't Connor have it too?
No,
We couldn't do that.
I mean we could have, but we just didn't.
Oh. I guess we didn't.
Connor, I'm sorry. I let you down there. Friend.
Damn.
I let you down there. Yeah, that
It's
game.
a horrible game.
It's a terrible game.
Yeah.
It is objectively. I forgot about it, and I'm sorry.
Remember we got to that one point where it was just a matter of triggering the checkpoint because we died so quickly?
And it just kept fucking crashing.
Yeah.
Oh no! It's not that it crashed. The fucking door that was supposed to be open, wouldn't open.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. That was terrible. We had to play that level like 3-4 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we kept getting to it.
That was awful. Connor, that probably would have been number 1 had I thought about it. I'm sorry. I've let you down, my friend. I have
a
let
big
you
letdown,
down.
yeah.
That's unfortunate. So, ladies and gentlemen, that just leads us to what is the final list?
What is it?
You gentlemen,
curious.
between the two of you, guessed 5 of the 10 possible answers. First of all, Phil, what were the final scores?
Final scores, Tavin, are Connor with 10 points and me with 26.
Damn. Tough.
That's me tittering.
You could have been at least at 20 if you had guessed number 3 and number 6.
Well, what are they?
Which I'm surprised did not get answered at all. Number 10, starting from the bottom, a game that would have been knocked off by Terminator Salvation had I thought about it. And again, not a terrible game, but to me personally, a very disappointing game, and I don't ever want to play it ever again. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Just a boring slosh of mistakes, Just not a very good game. But not the worst game in the world. Just really boring and uninteresting. And I can't even recall a single character's name in that
neither
game,
could I.
which is a problem for not only a Mass Effect game, but just a BioWare game in general.
I remember the Turian being cool.
The Turian was cool. What was her name?
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
Not cool enough.
You could fuck her.
I was going to.
Did you ever watch? Oh, you never got that far?
No,
Did you ever watch the romance scene?
No,
It was charming and cute.
because you're fucking a Turian, like rock.
Well, she was like nervous and shit. And I think she like cooked you dinner and burnt the steaks or something like that. I forget. Anyways, number 9, Star Wars Battlefront 2015.
I almost said that.
2015. This is the rebooted Star Wars Battlefront that they did when they gave EA the license and they rushed out a Battlefront game. Now, again, is this the worst game in the world? No. But it's pretty boring and basic and super content light. This is the one, no campaign, even though they put a campaign in part 2 and that was terrible. But this is the one, no campaign, no space dog fighting at all. And yeah, just not a very good game. Very forgettable game. Number 8, one that's going to cause a little bit of ruckus, a little bit of uproar, a little bit of internet controversy. Number 8 worst video game of all time, Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
I was expecting it to be like a game people like.
I thought he was going to say like Breath of the Wild.
No, I would never be that crazy. No, Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Yeah, that game has aged like milk, and I don't think it was that great when it came out, but it was fun when it came out, and I don't think it's fun anymore. I think it's aged pretty poorly, even worse than some of those PS2 Spider-Man games. And listen, this is probably not the worst Spider-Man game of all time. Spider-Man 3 is probably worse. Spider-Man Friend or Foe is probably worse, but I haven't played those games as recently as I've played Web of Shadows.
Oh, dude, I remember Friend or Foe. I had such a blast at that when I was a kid.
Yeah, that was like a weird like beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
Probably not very good, but I remember having fun with it.
I played co-op with my little cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it with some friend who I don't remember.
Can I tell a quick non sequitur?
Sure.
When I was a little kid, I played baseball, right? And I went over to one of my teammates' house, and he had Spider-Man Friend or Foe. And I was like, "Oh, dude, I love Spider-Man. Can I borrow this game?"
Never gave it back.
Yeah.
Never gave it back. He stole that shit. I did that with some game. I don't remember what.
Oh, fuck.
Pretty much did it with your DS. I had your DS for like 3 years.
But that was like, I knew it was gone. I was like, I'll let him.
Oh,
maybe I'll play it eventually.
He was trying to play Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem Awakening. Yep. Played the first hour. Didn't play anymore. Sorry. I should play that game, though. That game looks great.
It's very fun.
Number 7, we talked about it a little bit. Sly 4 Thieves in Time. Totally misunderstood, missed the mark. Again, not the worst video game in the world, but as a Sly Cooper fan, I found it offensive. And as a video game, it was all right. It was kind of bland. 3D platform mascot games really struggled in the PS3 era. And we felt it in later generations because we didn't get them anymore for a while. Number 6, a game I can't believe you guys didn't say. Reviewed it for the channel. Just a cornucopia of mistakes, this game, and disappointment. Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That game, awful. Why are we trying to reinvent melee combat in 3D action games? Why are we trying to do this weird homage to Punch-Out? Via gameplay, it didn't work. It was really bad. It wasn't scary. The generic enemy types and a story that just spat in your face in the end. Really disappointing game for what was supposed to be the Dead Space spiritual successor. Number 5, Kingdom Hearts 1. I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is a interesting idea that totally doesn't get where it wants to be. I think its combat is rough. I think it's quite rough. I don't think it nailed its systems at all. I think its boss fights are obtuse and frustrating. I think its level design is awful. I think its signposting is some of the worst in video games ever.
Can you give me my 1?
I mean, you're almost essentially there, but yeah.
Mad 'cause bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I think its signposting is one of the worst examples of signposting in video games ever. And it's got too long of a runtime. And it's a Kingdom Hearts game, so its story is garbage. What else do you want? Number 4 is Jack 2, which might objectively be better than Kingdom Hearts 1, but I was way more frustrated with Jack 2. Jack 2 infuriated me. Just a game that I think had great intentions, but totally messed it up. It's not just the checkpoints. It's just the level design and the way they distribute ammunition and the onslaught of enemies that just never fucking stop. The weird the weird open world implementation that they have doesn't work. And I don't think that game is good.
You get ammo by killing enemies.
Yeah, but not the ammo you need. Number 3 is Dead Space 3.
Oh, really?
Killed the franchise. What do you mean? Oh, really? That game sucks.
I feel like it's better than some other ones.
Terrible story. Terrible gameplay. Infected with microtransactions. Just EA trying to turn Dead Space into an annual franchise, and it just why would you do that? And just completely killed the franchise, and it deserved to die after that game. God, I miss Dead Space.
Did you play that game? Did you play that game co-op with Connor?
I played that game mostly single player.
Who was Isaac and who was Carver?
It probably would have been me to be Isaac.
Yeah.
But again, I played that game mostly single player, so
nice.
I wouldn't know. God, that game sucks. Number 2, Resident Evil 6 almost killed the franchise. Yeah, just a terrible game. A mess of design, a mess of gameplay. It's an ugly game. It's a terrible story. It's a ridiculous game. Remember in the Leon levels where you literally just fall to the center of the earth for Leon an hour and a half? It feels like you just kept getting lower and lower and into the earth. Like, terrible game.
It's funny you mentioned that because earlier today I was reflecting on one of the greatest games ever made, Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
And I was like, one of the weird things about that was you just go into like different areas that don't really mesh together.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it just puts you somewhere else. And I was like, it's kind of like Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking of that at the very today at work. I was just random thought.
And then number 1, Sonic Adventure DX. Sonic Adventure is a broken and terrible game. It doesn't work. It gets a little bit of a pass just because it is early in the 3D era. It's a game that it's a necessary game. We need it to know what not to do in the future.
And he only played 1/6 of it.
Listen, the credits rolled. Eggman was defeated, and that game is awful.
Was he?
That game was awful. Awful video game. Broken in every possible way you can imagine. That game sucks.